Reliable reporting is what we stand for here at WNDU. Mark Peterson has served as a role model for generations of young reporters early in their careers, but he's also served as a mentor and role model for those of us who are roughly the same vintage as Mark. But today, the story is all about Mark himself, and our Tricia Sloma got the tough assignment. Tricia?
Yeah, tough assignment. No pressure, right? He's only the best in the business. So we turned the camera on him. Mark does not like to be the center of attention. Perhaps that's one of his secrets to his success. For 40 years, he's worked behind the scenes to tell our local news stories.
Do say it contains a modest increase in wages and pension benefits, but calls for some concessions.
If there's a complicated story, Mark Peterson is on it.
Well, if I've got a talent, I guess it's making the complex understandable.
And there are a lot of complex stories. Some are pretty dry.
Obviously, the subject of property tax relief could work its way into this option tax proposal.
Well, property taxes, there's probably not a drier subject on earth, and I just took the time to understand, ask the right questions to the right people.
That's what makes Mark Peterson the most reliable newsman in the area. Born in Chicago, he moved with his family to Dowagiac when he was a kid. He caught the news bug at Southwestern Michigan College, and his first job was in radio.
Radio only takes you so far. If you wanted a little bump in pay, you had to pretty much go to TV if you wanted to be in news. And I only applied to Channel 16.
That was in 1985.
My first typewriter was literally manual. It wasn't even electric.
When he wore a mustache.
I had the Caterpillar when I hired on. I had a mustache, grew it to look older and shaved it to look younger. But
joins us now live from Washington. Mark?
You know, Mike, in his inaugural address, George Bush was pretty specific as to what he expects from the American people.
But it was his hard work that got noticed. He got assigned the big stories.
Now we go to some legislative reaction.
That often sent him to the State House in Indy. Back then, to make deadline, Mark's stories had to fly.
Literally put it on a cargo plane, and it would go to SBN, had to make it there on time. I know 2:30 was our deadline, and we'd always try to feed something for the next day as well.
Of an alternative explanation for the murders.
Some stories are hard to forget, even if he wants to.
You don't want to go back and think about it.
You see, Mark spent a lot of his career reporting on some incredibly tough cases.
Bordered on torture. There were blows with a wooden club, brandings with a hot clothes iron.
Sturgis trial.
A police officer who left the impression that Jeff Pelly came about this close to confessing.
I was at the Pelly trial. I mean, those are just...
Osco murders?
Osco murders. Was involved in a lot of trials in the early days.
Always keeping it professional.
But I guess to be able to give the whole, in an even keel, to report both sides, what did the defense, what did the prosecution say, you still have to be there to do your job, even if it's bugging you. Still, I can close my eyes and see portions of that.
What's your strategy? I mean, there's so much food and so little time.
Not eat too much.
What's your favorite story?
Part of the art in this job is to, find the story that nobody else finds. Keep your eyes open. Don't miss a story by following the one you're assigned to.
That technique gave us great stories, like the taps at Waco Beach.
Punch in the gut, we call it, a patriotic punch in the gut. Comes out of nowhere and just grabs your emotions.
Music has a way of doing that. Mark should know. He's played the guitar for years. He's looking forward to more playing time with his band RPM and spending time with his family.
I keep a calendar of every year here and all the stories that I've done over the years. There's 39 more of these at home.
But his WNDU family and viewers will miss his work. You set the standard for excellence in reporting, and I never thought you got enough of the awards and the accolades that you should have.
It's not about me. That means you're doing your job. If you're not the distraction, you're just the filter. Try to present both sides and try to be first with something.
I wish you the best in your next chapter. 40 years.
But now it's his last day. Mark told me he knew it was time after a brief encounter with a stranger, a viewer he met at a restaurant.
He was chatting me up and this and that, and then he just kind of paused for a while, and what's wrong? He goes, "I've never seen you smile." And I thought, you know, he's right. It goes with the turf. It goes with the territory. You don't get there's not a lot of reasons to smile on this job. But for him to make that observation, I thought, well, dead on.
Maybe it's time to start smiling.
Maybe it's time to start smiling a little bit.
And I'm joined now by the Mark Peterson on a set that you just told me you have never been on. Is that right? Of all the sets here in this building.
I've not been on the couch. You know,
you've not been on.
I feel like I should have coffee.
Right. Well, it is my honor and distinct pleasure to interview you on the couch. Mark, I have to say, you know, that was a tough assignment for me because you're always so deadpan. Your humor is dry. I always love it. But you got really serious, though, during the interview, and I wasn't able to put it in there. When you talked about some of the people that you wanted to thank, here's your moment. You worked with some really great photographers and editors.
Oh, yeah. Rob Jones, Kirk Bennett, Kevin Burke was part of the posse.
The posse.
We go way back, and of course, you know, we also had the sideline, the Thursday night pucks, Thursday pre-payday. Shuffleboard games.
Morning girls don't get to hang out with the evening guys that much, I gotta say, but I always would hear about these get-togethers. But also Eric Walton, and we heard from him a little bit earlier. One of the best artists we've ever seen. Truly talented, yeah. So what do you think of all of this?
You know, I'm a little tired of hearing about me. You know,
I knew it.
That's not me.
No, it's not you.
I'm very comfortable reporting the story, not very comfortable being the story. It reminds me how often does Mike Pease call somebody out for having questionable work ethic, saying, thanks for doing your job. And I mean, that's all I've really done these past 40 years is my job, nothing more, nothing less. You know, don't want to be the general manager, don't want to be the news director. I just want to be out on the street doing what I do.
Well, we thank you for doing all that you did for each and every one of us. We've either enjoyed your work or we've learned from your work. And we want to say thank you truly from our hearts.
That's very kind of you to say. Thank you right back.
All right. Well, it's been a pleasure. And we're going to have more tributes to you, but thank you. And you can see more of all of this. We're going to collect it all. You can't get enough of you.
But this will be my only couch appearance.
Right, this is the only couch appearance. But you can see it all on our website after the show this evening. I'll be in bed.
Yeah.
But you can stay up and watch it. WNDU.com. We'll be back with much more news as well as Andrew's full forecast right after this short break. We love you, Mark.